Hello, everyone. Do you ever record, edit, export, and then upload the video and then remember that you want to add something into the video? Relatable? Whatever. Anyway, in the last video when I mentioned King Kong 2005, I wanted to mention this meme that I saw. Arguably, Optimus Prime doesn't look that as good as the other things, and Avatar barely counts because it was like in 2009 or something. Anyway, I have a theory, people. Of course, media follows trends, and something I believe they're following after the success of, like, what the hell do you even want to say? Could we say Sonic is the spark that lit this whole fire? Comic book movies have been the hot thing for like nearly 2 decades now, and they're teetering out. They're like coming to an. They're like crashing and burning at the seams. But now it seems like video games finally have their own mark. You know, we had Tomb Raider, which wasn't that good. We had Super Mario Brothers and other movies that like are just too bad to even mention. But ever since it feels like Sonic, we have like Uncharted, we have Sonic 2, of course. We have the Last of Us series. We're gonna have Borderlands, which doesn't even look that bad, to be honest, considering it's Borderlands. But Fallout, the TV show. I myself have always been a Skyrim boy, not a Fallout girl. Mainly because when I bought like Fallout 3 like a decade ago, it didn't work on Windows 8 or something, so I refunded it. And apparently the only thing I have is Fallout New Vegas, which actually runs on Windows 10. Fine enough. So I had no idea or any expectations for the Fallout TV show. I didn't know anything other than like a bit of iconography, like these memes or whatever. I knew the basic premise, the plot, you know, like we have a post-apocalyptic, well, nuclear wasteland, humans are coming out of vaults or whatever, we're exploring the outside, there are like freaky creatures outside. Other than that, I had no idea. Also, like Fallout and Skyrim, well, maybe not Skyrim, I don't know about Fallout, but it doesn't seem to me like a very heavily narrative driven story like The Last of Us, which is basically a movie / TV show to begin with. So what would you do with a Fallout show? I wouldn't even be sure, considering like they're very much games at the forefront, whereas Last of Us is a cinematic experience. But I would be, oh yeah, let's not forget before I continue. We have the Halo show, and we also had Resident Evil, which were both like so terrific, weren't they? I guess those kind of muddy my point, but you see my point that games are getting more and more movies and TV shows. Anyway, for Fallout the show, I had no expectations going into it, but I am happily surprised with actually how good it is. It's kind of surprising to me that for the last 2 decades nearly, Marvel has been making the best comic book stuff. However, the last few years, you know, Disney comes out with like WandaVision and it's good and all, but then it comes out with like Secret Invasion, and I hear X-Men 97 is good, but over here Amazon comes out with Invincible and The Boys and now Fallout and just showing everyone how to do it. And yet again, Amazon is coming out with a fantastic show. Fallout has just as much production quality as The Last of Us show had. Everything looked amazing, like the sets, the costumes, the makeup, whatever, but also even part of makeup, I guess, the gore and stuff, the effects, the vaults looked vaulty, the tech, they looked techy, everything fit into the Fallout universe perfectly. Nothing broke. Well, to be honest, something having to do with casting broke my immersion, kind of. But everything looked amazing and fit into the Fallout universe perfectly. The story kind of surprising, well, not actually surprising. From what I know of Fallout 3, I think, the Fallout show kind of has a loose main plot similar to Fallout 3, I think. Basically, in the first episode, our main character is going to get married off. This is going to be the first episode, so I don't care about really spoiling it. Our first character is going to get married off, since marrying inside the vault would be quite incestuous. And she's going to marry someone from a vault next door. And turns out they're bad guys, and they kill people from their vault, and they steal her dad, too. So then she goes out into the outside world to try and rescue her dad, and she comes across a bunch of various characters characters. Entering that, let's talk about that. She isn't even our main character. Obviously, as you see on the poster, we have two other characters too. We have the knights, Marcus. I can't remember if it was Marcus or Tedious or something. I can't remember. But we have him who's wearing the iconic armor that, like, you know, it's on the cover of Fallout 3. And then we have a mutant, right? Abomination. I can't remember. The cowboy guy. Honestly, the knights. I can't remember the whole name for their faction, but the knights. We have like kind of three plots here with these three main characters. Kind of. Among them, the knights seem, not that they're bad, but they seem the weaker part of the plots. The cowboy guy's plot, with him being like practically immortal and him actually having memories from the past, that was actually quite compelling. And the revelations that our main character, the girl from the vault, Lucy, the revelations that come up at the end were actually really good. I am surprised at how much this show got me at the end. This practically never happens, but at the end of the show, the last episode, a few things happened that actually made my jaw drop. And I wasn't so super into this show. Like, I even had it on a side monitor while I was doing something else. But on the last episode, I completely switched focus from what I was doing and just watching, glued to the screen, watching this last episode of Fallout. And I had my jaw drop like twice in a few minutes. Now, like I said, the production quality is really there. The acting is really there too. Same with the dialogue. Nothing took me out. Some things were, I mean, I don't know much about the Fallout universe again. So some things, especially to do with the knights, kind of surprised me. I didn't expect them to be like that, but not that I know. And then if I were to come to that one thing that actually unimmersed me, again, I don't know the Fallout universe, but we are living in a post-nuclear wasteland, underground in vaults. Why is there a bigger person in one of the vaults? Like, that overweight guy kind of unimmersed me from the experience. But that's just kind of nitpicky. Anyway, the Fallout show is like really good. It's like unexpectedly good. Coming out of kind of nowhere. Same with Invincible and The Boys, like just showing up, being really good, showing people how to do it, and then going off and minding its own business, waiting for the second season to cook. So anyway, before I rate this, let me explain something, you guys. Much like in one of the Overwatch 2 videos I showed you in the last video, one of the guys mentioned how can you put something, a whole paragraph, into a number score. And you know, a review with words is the more valid review and critique of whatever. A 0 to 100 number score is a whole lot less of shows a whole lot less about that sort of media. I mean, like, how do you condense everything you said into a 0 to 100? Even more, how do you condense 0 to 10? I mean, you can say 7.8 or whatever for 78. But beyond that, how do you condense 0 to 10, an entire paragraph to 0 to 10 in a number score? And furthermore, the final evolution of this condensation and this blurring of like an actual media review, finally, is the tier list. In this tier list I have S, A, B, C, D, E, and F. This is 7 points, not even 10. So it muddies the water even more. I have decided to put everything I review onto this. Genre, medium, age range, be damned. Everything goes on here, and this is going to be ridiculous. And obviously not going to fit. I'm going to have to expand this. Why have I done this? Has this all been a mistake? Yeah, probably. See, well, like I kind of mentioned with Godzilla X Kong, I feel one is better than the other, but I don't feel like the other one is just a 5, you know? So so this entire tier list is so blurry. Anyway, anything I've mentioned in my previous reviews is going to go into this. I'm going to try to put them. I'm not going to watch Lord of the Rings trilogy anytime soon again, but I'm going to put them here eventually. Anyway, Invincible season 1. I haven't watched the second season yet. I really have to. Invincible season 1. Honestly, the story at the end is super compelling to me, but the beginning half of the season, well, maybe the middling, like, you know, the second quarter, I guess, is kind of slow and not really interesting. Honestly, I want to put that storyline into S, but because of that part, I think I'm just going to put it here. Also, I understand that there are some budgetary problems. I'm going to put it an A. But if we're going to give it a score, I'm putting this score on an 8, honestly. I'm not even going to argue with the dad part. I really like that story. The Boys, I'm all caught up on The Boys. Along with all of the seasons together, I feel it goes into like a 7 at that point. You know, like one season wasn't as good as the other. So I'm going to give Boys a 7, and that's going to be. Okay, next we have X-Men 97. Anything I mentioned, again, I'm putting it on this list here. These don't, the shows, the cartoons, which by the way, the shows, the cartoons, they're not on Letterboxd, which is a total double standard because anime, not movies, anime has their own listings on Letterboxd, but not shows or in cartoons, which is unfair. Anyway, X-Men 97. Honestly, not that bad. I'm giving it a, from what I haven't finished it yet, but from what I've watched, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Let's put it here. It definitely seems like it's for the audience that's watched it as a kid. Like that's how it's been marketed. And I didn't, but even so, it's good. It's not kiddie though. It's for the grown-up audience that has watched it as a child. Anyway, The Last of Us show. The Last of Us, honestly, one of my favorite stories ever. Very favorite narratives in like all of fiction, not even gonna lie. The show kind of meanders. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Meander, like Invincible meandered at some point in the show. The Last of Us TV show also kind of meandered. The production quality is really there, but for a bit of the pacing, I'm putting this here. The Last of Us game though, I'm putting that on S. This is an entire mess over here. This entire tier list is a whole mess. The Last of Us TV show, I'm giving that an 8 out of 10. The Last of Us game, I'm giving that a 9 out of 10. And part 2, The Last of Us part 2, this is disappointing. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It could have been so much better. It could have been so much better. Fallout, the TV show though. Fallout show, it's not bad. It's actually good. Did I put it on A or B? I'm giving Fallout a 7 out of 10, and I guess I'll go here. I honestly can't wait to see more of this show. The revelations that happened at the last episode and where it's leading have me really excited for the next season of the show, and I can't wait to see where they take it, honestly. So, yes, this is the mess that we have here now. Check out Letterboxd. We have a Twitter, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Goodbye, everyone.